bending an A string.
So, like what you just said, recording is we're not going to bend our A string. So really the key to this whole situation, what we need to be working on is, this is classical thumb position, and a way to trick yourself into it is to just put all 4 fingers on the bass string. And now let's look at putting all 4 fingers on the high string, on the first string. Naturally, your thumb does this a little bit, by definition, but we just don't want to make it like hardcore. Your arm actually moves. There's no way to quite do it, but we want the minimal amount of movement. So first thing I want you to do is just do 4 finger and then hop down and look at what I'm doing. When I get to there's a little pivot. When I get to there's a little more pivot, but not like hardcore pivot at any point. And certainly not any, you can stay in the same exact position when you go to the A string, the third string. So there's something just like trick yourself into getting good at it. Down at the bottom of the page, we introduced the A blues scale, which is a variation on the A minor pentatonic where we're throwing in tritones, which is a flatted fifth, but hitting A and D flat is what we're doing there. Cool. So we've got this. And then a good question you asked there was would I use my pinky or slide to it? And both. It really depends. There's a lot of like shit where we're doing fast pull-offs and we need to use our pinky, and then a lot of where we want the nuance of how it sounds when we slide. So, think of it as and I know it's like if you want to resolve, just go 1 fret higher or whatever if you can't stand it sonically, but also there'll be a fair amount of times where you will, when you're actually improvising, go up to that note and back down. Anyway, just so other dry stuff, this brought us to the concept of triads, which is right next to it. I'm working on the bottom of the page. I know you could follow this, but just to make it extra easy. Going 1, 2. In this song we're like, that's first, third, fifth, and like, the pinky's on C, which good job of not playing C sharp. That's, if I was playing C, that's another way to do it, but if we're doing it on adjacent strings, it's like this, and a minor one is, and that includes that flat 5 that we're playing right now, except in this situation, it's a flat third, if we think of it in terms of in relation to C, as opposed to in relation to A, which I know would make sense to you if it doesn't grab a piano. Cool, so here's this. But first, just, work on going up and down the scale some probably. And, in fact, there's your first assignment. Just go up and down the scale, but totally de-emphasizing rhythm. Alternating fingers, all 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, no 1, 1. That we see that it really depends. A lot of the time when you're going fast, using the same finger makes more sense because it's already chilling there. When we use good technique, if we still sucked, we would always go alternate, alternator. People that play badly, but with us, they're like that. It just comes to rest there. Alright, so this riff goes. So that we're just walking up the scale, stop and do that, and really pay attention to the 1s and 2s, which I wrote above on that. They're under on all the other ones in traditional position. So, and there we're just alternating. Cool. Then we have, so, just going, there's really the place to watch yourself for bending your first string. You can even just go like, I'm doing this, and being mindful of it when you were doing the scale. But it's hammer on, and that's going to really make you want to bend the string. That's one of the reasons we are doing this, not something else. So, you could just do that sometimes, because after that it just goes, so there we are. And that one's going to come up again, so. And there's a certain amount of buzz that'll happen naturally, but we both should be pushing down a little harder. It's like the nature of hitting that string that it buzzes, but we need, pushing down. It doesn't necessarily eliminate it. So it's not necessarily a bad sound accordingly, and it won't come out of your amp that way. So, there's the first section. Then we're going, and that's just like, and then note for note again. So random stuff that ends on that double note. Cool. So those two back to back. Then we've got, you're already in that position. It's going to be, let's pull off. So there's a spot where it's actually okay to kind of bend the string a little bit when you're going. It just sounds cool to bend that third a little bit. So when might I do that? There's like a situation where I just found myself going because it sounded cool. Like, so you can do it there, and you don't have problems with bending the bottom string. So whatever. But there it is. Octave, and it'd be cool to still have this note sustaining, not to accidentally mute it with part of your hand, so it's going to end with, that's still ringing out when you go to that note there. So, excuse me, video, oh no, it's not picking up anyway. There's the main thing. And then we added some more to it. That's happening around 6:30 in your video, which I'm not going to double barrel pencil it. Man, when I worked in an office for 2 years entire of my life, I would just find myself with like 2 pencils behind each ear. Like I was on doing phone sales. Maybe that was a little bit of hyperbole, but I would seriously regularly be like, shit, there's already one there. Excuse me, Tommy's parents. Shucks, there's another one there. Anyway, so there's us now. We decided we're going to do slide and pull off there. Either way, it's just one total pick. And there's some down to that pull off, but it's not like pluck, like really hard, nor is it that you can move just laterally away from the instrument. But you actually can, as long as it's decisive movement. Here I'm making a point to do like the least down ever. Like as long as you do a decisive movement, it could be up, it could be lateral, but here this. So yeah, you don't actually have to do that. We talked about how it might be that you're subconsciously putting your finger back on the string too. Either way, there we are. So, and then, so there's the end. It's kind of easy rather. And then we're going, which is our major triad inverted. And then we're going to go on purpose. So we kind of go major triad, minor triad, just to see it pop up there. So stuff on the bottom line. All single picks. Awesome. So I just need to go boom, boom, boom. And at that point, I'm going to decide, like the very bottom one, so only one where I didn't write in 1, 2. Just trying to make the right decisions on that one. So second half in its entirety was, excuse me. And then, so. And that's what's up. When you're playing the pentatonic, it's very angular. Edgy, or if you think of it as major pentatonic, it's very like bright. But just throwing that other, and I think that was in a fair amount of our Kiss riffs. It was like it was like you might have done something like that in there. At least there was one where he played the blues scale there. Anyway, there we go. That's what we did today.